So today what we're going to be talking about is what we call our IPAS Max product. And it's taking our traditional IPAS survey, which is our international pay analysis system, and adding a layer of market intelligence to it. For those not familiar with IPAS, IPAS is a global salary survey that's available in over 125 different countries. We have different industry segments that we cover, from global high technology to consumer goods to a benchmark survey covering your standardized positions. And just as a quick run through of what that toolkit can do is it is a participant-based survey that is updated on a quarterly basis. And it is your traditional salary survey results. With our Max product, we have infused that with our kind of market intelligence coming out of Salary IQ. So what I'm going to do today is going to give you a quick rundown of what's available to be seen in IPAS, and then from there, those added benefits you get from using our market intelligence within our Salary IQ platform. So we're here starting on our IPAS homepage here. It's a very simple product to search and pull reports from, as well as you can export the entirety of the survey results to use within a management system like our Comp Analyst Enterprise or any other management system or Excel workbook you have built for your process. You'll notice I have three main boxes on my IPAS page to run reports: country, function, and level. Countries, we can see here, we can simply select the country we're interested in. And then we have job functions and job levels. We work off of what's called a global leveling system within this platform. So your job codes are going to be consistent across each and every individual country. The first three digits are always going to represent that function. So if I scroll down here into some of my engineering positions, you'll notice a DDS is always going to represent a software engineer. These functions also do have detailed job descriptions tied to them to help us understand the aspects and responsibilities of that position. And the same thing goes for our job levels as well. What I'm going to do today is just run a quick report to show you some results, and then from there, transition us over to that market intelligence toolkit that's tied into this via the Max model. So if I ran this as it stands today, what we're going to see is our data results. Keep in mind, this is a traditional salary survey, so we're going to need a minimum number of organizations and incumbents for each and every breakout that's available. We can see the different jobs under the software engineering focus here, right? So our software engineer at a supervisor, manager level, so on and so forth throughout our reports. We have different breakouts in terms of our categories, from size to geos to FTEs to some combined categories with geography and segment, so on and so forth. And from here, we're seeing our traditional market data results. We're seeing information on base as well as TTC, which is your total target compensation. That's going to be inclusive of your short-term incentives, cash bonuses paid out within a year term. On top of that, within IPAS, we can grab any pay percentile we'd like between that 10th and 90th percentile, as well as add in additional aspects of pay. We know for global organizations that base pay is not all that matters, and TTC is not all that matters. You'll see here we have base minus and total minus, base plus and total plus. These are going to include or exclude certain aspects of the job, such as a 13-month pay or allowances that could be tied to these positions. Also can be included as some basic incentive information, as well as, if we need to, breaking out the individual allowances reported back from these organizations into the survey itself. Because this is a participant-driven survey, we can see participants lists. If you're interested in learning more about any of this, I would really encourage you to click the link in the chat. If you do happen to be in touch with your customer success manager, you can always reach out to them as well. But now we take this from kind of just this traditional HR reported salary survey, and we're trying to bolster that with market intelligence. And the way we've done this is by providing an SSO link directly into our Salary IQ. And we can click on this link. What I have is I have it open on another tab here. If we were to click on that, it would drop us directly into this page. And what is Salary IQ, right? Salary IQ is a market intelligence toolkit coming from job postings. And on a daily cadence, we're scraping publicly available job boards, company career sites, and anywhere and everywhere we can get our hands on posting data. This toolkit is currently available in right around 47 different countries. If you were to go with IPAS Max, you would have some limited access to each and every one of these countries, no matter where your operations stand. So for today, I'm going to go through some examples of how we can search within this toolkit. It does provide great data in terms of helping you understand things like market movement. Where's the market today? Where is it going? This posting data is really representative of where that market is going as opposed to what's been paid in the past with our traditional survey data, as well as we'll talk about specific peer groups, organizations, and really drilling into this data set. I like to say here, as I look for a job, and I'll just use that same software engineer, as we're looking for data, job posting data can be a very inconsistent data type. But what we've done with this market intelligence toolkit, Salary IQ, is we've tried to map these postings back to standardized titles and descriptions, giving us consistency. This toolkit's also great for your niche roles that aren't reported in traditional surveys to help you fill gaps by utilizing what we call a keyword search. So just searching for terms, right, within job descriptions or job titles to then pull back those results holistically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this software engineer 2 example. I'm not going to scope it down with the location yet. Just know we can look at this in any country of interest that's available. And as we run our search, what we're going to see is what we call our big blue bar, our top sheet results, but then from there, really be able to get into the weeds of the data itself. I've run hundreds of these demonstrations for this piece of our platform and for IPAS Max in general. And I've seen hundreds of different use cases in terms of how people like to ingest this data type. So we've built this platform intentionally to be flexible to match those needs. So we see our aggregate row at the top coming from a number of postings and hiring organizations. We see some salary trend in where the market is going and has been for this particular position, top companies hiring, as well as things like the highly compensated skills. But then if we wanted to kind of filter through and down into this data, the first breakouts we see are by market. So each and every location within a particular country can be opened up. We can see the exact hiring organizations within that market. We can open those up even further and get into the individual postings for the position or for the job we're searching for. We see minimums, midpoints, and maximums coming into play here, and we can also see things like our range source. Our range source, we have two different range sources within the platform, Range IQ and Posted. Not every state, not every country has pay transparency requirements, so not everyone is posting job ranges, but that doesn't mean we can't provide data in those cases. Where a range is not tied to a posting, we utilize Range IQ, which is a large language model we've developed internally, to provide an estimated value, and our posted ranges are coming truly from those job postings themselves. You do have the ability within this toolkit to get all the way down to the posting source, see the detailed job description, and even jump to the posting site. With this, in terms of flexibility, we also have a ton of filtering options. We are scraping the skills out of the jobs. We can use those skills to refine our search parameters. We can look at not only jobs that are active within a 60-day window, we can open this up and look at historical data by using before, after, or between date ranges. Or open this up even further and pull in non-active postings. There's a tremendous amount of value available there as well. We can filter by geo, industry, organizational size to help curate this list, as well as remove individual postings or hiring organizations that don't make sense for our report. And again, not the only way to look and ingest this data type. You will notice as I'm looking at my skills as a nice added bonus, we do have the ability to look at things like interview questions. So sample interview questions for your talent acquisition team. This product is also seen as a bridge between TA and comp because this is the type of data those teams are seeing on a daily cadence. The last thing I want to mention as we're talking through the platform today is also the ability to start your search in a different way. Not only can we look at a job in a market, we can also look at this from the perspective of an individual company or a group of companies. Because this is publicly available data, we can come in and we can develop what we call peer groups. At any time, I can come and add a new peer group. What this is going to allow me to do is come in here and search for a list of organizations that I compete for talent with. We have some filters to help you get there. You can type by company name. And as you build those into lists, you can see they then represent below. And we can come in and we can start running these peer groups. We can say, hey, if I am X organization and I'm competing for talent with this other group of orgs, I can run that report and it's going to show me holistically who out of that group is hiring, where are they hiring, and what are they hiring for in that moment. So we can see in my example, I have 6 companies that are hiring, 526 postings. And then from here, we see a similar breakout. We see our geos, we see the hiring organization in that geo, and then the posting itself, providing us an additional level of intelligence. Not only that, though, if we want to look at this from the job perspective or the company perspective, we can change our views and filters. This is again all about getting you to more accurate, more reliable results that supplement what you're using within standard IPAS today. And it really is the new model we're working towards across all of our Salary.com products by bringing in these AI insights, this market intelligence, and this real-time data. It's all about assisting in your workflows and giving you more time to spend on your strategic decision making as opposed to just looking at things from the lens of a job through traditional survey data, having to run your searches that way. So, really, with all that being said, that's a kind of a quick rundown for us of the IPAS Max platform.